So welcome back. We are back for the 30-day video game challenge. It is day 3 and today we're talking about a game with a story that you love. If you would like to participate, just leave down in the comments below a game with a story that you love. Today, the game that I'm going to be talking about is Final Fantasy 15. Final Fantasy 15 is a game that is honestly in my top 5 games of all time. And it is my favorite JRPG of all time. Very, very high up on the rankings. And honestly, I was gonna save it for like a later day, but this fits perfectly with the game for the story I love. This is the game that really got me into the Final Fantasy series, but has me interested in playing the rest of the games or even giving them time of day. I didn't end up playing Final Fantasy 15 till a couple of years ago, because I just seen it on Steam and it was like really cheap for like 10. It was like either 10 or $5, something like that. It was something super cheap. But I was like, I'm gonna give it a chance. Like, it seemed interesting, and I heard a lot of good things about it from people. But I want to play it for myself, and it would just be a fun little game to play. So I ended up playing it, and I just fell in love with everything. I fell in love with the characters. I fell in love with the story. I fell in love with the questing. I fell in love with the gameplay. Just everything in the game just really held my attention from beginning to end. And the story in particular. So we're talking about the story today. The story of the game is essentially like Noctis coming to term with like really being a king and like really like taking that responsibility. Like that's kind of what the story is of the game. Like from the very beginning of the game, what ends up happening is that you are sent off on an adventure with your friends. You guys are going on what is essentially an extended road trip. You're in the regalia. You're sent off by your dad, and he's like, "All right, guys. Make sure you protect my son, and make sure you guys get to the bride to be as soon as possible, and just stay safe." And the king, he already knows what's gonna happen. If you watch the movie prior to playing the game, you'll understand like what's going on. But essentially, what ends up happening is that the kingdom is attacked, the guy is killed, and essentially Noctis is now the king. That's eventually what ends up happening within the first couple hours of the game. So upon this, you're kind of dealing with Noctis going through learning what it means to be king, like what it means to be a king, how to handle this new responsibility, and trying to rising to power. And it was cool. It was really cool. I enjoyed the road trip thing, where essentially it starts out as that like everyone's on a road trip trying to get to Alticia because you're trying to get to Lunafreya, you're trying to get to this wedding and all this stuff. And along the way, Noctis is dealing with what happened with the capital getting fucking attacked and everyone dying and stuff. And he's dealing with like learning what it means to be king. He has to rise to the occasion and everything. He understands that there's a lot on his shoulders, and you get to really see that in the game. You get to really see his when he's learning how the summons work, how he has to get their blessing. He's learning how when he goes to the different sites and he gets the weapons from the old kings, and then his friends talking to him, and he asked them what do you guys think it means to be a king? What should I do? And stuff like that. You really get to see him learn. You really get to watch his development for yourself. And that was one of the things that I really enjoyed in the game. And I was really interested in just watching him develop. Just watching Noctis develop as a character and grow into the person that he eventually became to be. And the way the story runs is after some shit happens, you end up running into Arden, and Arden ends up fucking you, who's the main antagonist of the game. He's essentially the big bad. You run into him, he fucks you over, you lose the regalia, and then you gotta find a way to get it back. And then at that time, that's when you get your first summon. A bunch of stuff happens in between there. I'm speedrunning the fuck out of this story, but eventually you find out that Lunafreya is Alticia, and then you need to make your way there. It is at that point I thought that Noctis was going to have some sort of happiness. I thought, because this is what we were playing the whole game for. This was like halfway through the game. this is what I thought we were really playing for. This is what I really thought that, like, you know, Nox gonna have some form of happiness, like we would have a happy moment, and it seemed like that until you get to Alticia. You walk around, it's all vibrant, it's all nice, happy. Everyone's talking about the wedding, and you know, you get to actually see Lunafreya. You don't actually get to meet her, bless her soul. You get to see her. She has a little speech and stuff. And when Lunafreya died, right? When Lunafreya died, I was so I didn't see any death flags. I didn't see any death flags prior to that of Lunafreya dying. I didn't see any death flags or whatever. So when she did die, I was just like, oh, that's insane. So what the fuck are we about to do now? And then obviously Noctis, he goes fucking insane. He basically gets the full power. He unlocked the full power of his fucking what is it? Damn, I forgot what it's called. The Armiger. I want to say it's the Armiger thing. He activates that and he gets access to all 13 weapons, and he's like fighting the fucking Hydra. It is a crazy fight, and then all in the back of your head, you're just thinking about how this whole journey, everything you've done up to this point was to get to this one girl, get to this one city, just for her to fucking die right in front of you. Just for you literally to watch her die right in front of you. Y'all didn't even get to talk. Y'all didn't even get to hold hands. Y'all didn't get to hug. None of that, bro. And that shit was sad. That shit was sad as fuck. And then also, in the DLC, and when you play as Ignis, you get to really find out what happened after that, and how Ignis, like, you know, he stepped up and he was trying to stand the Arden, fight him and stuff. And then doing that, trying to fight Arden, he went permanently blind because he used the power of the ring, and because he's not like he's not the king, or he's not someone of royal blood, he can't actually use it or whatever. So to make his contract, lose his sight, trying to protect his friends and shit. And bro, it was so fucking cool. It was so fucking cool. That was like turning point of the game, and that's when it's like, all right, bro. After that, actually, the game becomes pretty on rails. Up until that point, it is like complete open world, like, you know, like experience or whatever. At that point, it goes complete on rails. Like you're going from story beat, and it just keeps going until the end of the game, essentially. But I didn't mind it. I really enjoyed it. It was interesting watching that happen, and essentially Noctis at that point, he's like all distraught and shit, and his friends, they're talking to him, they're like, hey man, you can't be fucking moping around, bro. Like, a lot of people died. I mean, a lot of shit happened. A lot of people sacrificed a lot for you to live, like, you know, for you to survive, and you're not supposed to just sit here as the king just moping around. Like, you need to fucking do something. And then he's like, you know what, bro? Oh, he didn't say that immediately, but he's like, you know what, bro? Actually, you motherfuckers are right. It's about time. And it takes until Noctis losing literally everything. He loses Lunafreya. He's disconnected from his friends. He loses his father. He loses the city. He loses everything, and then he's stuck in a place that he's unsure of. He has no weapons or anything, and he's like, damn, bro, it's fucking time. I have to do it. And then that's when he finally puts on the ring. And once he does that, that's when you're in this sequence, and that's when you're in this little sequence where so basically the game turns like a fucking horror game or whatever, and you're going around sneaking, and you have the ring, and the ring is fucking super powerful, so it like one-shots people, and you get to really see the power of like this ring and what it holds. And then that's when you find out a little bit more. At this point, that's when you find out more into like the backstory of what happens with the ring, and and what Noctis has to do. And that's when you realize that the story is essentially going to be a sacrifice, because Noctis, at the end of all this, to beat Arden and completely cast him away, he's going to need to sacrifice his own life. So at the end of the game, once he finally gets to Arden, and they finally have the final showdown where he is fully, because he goes through like a time skip, and they have to keep fighting and stuff, stay alive. They have to survive until Noctis gets back. Once Noctis goes through the time skip, he comes back to fight Arden, and to defeat Arden, he has to first beat him in battle. Once he goes away, then he sits down on the throne, activates the ring. All 13 of the previous kings, they all infuse into Noctis, and then for Noctis to do this, Noctis has to die. Noctis dies when this happens, and it is a sacrifice, the ultimate sacrifice, to finally get rid of the fucking darkness that is on the world. And I really fucking enjoyed the story. I speed ran through the story. Like, there's a bunch of things that happened that I didn't even mention, like in the DLC when you play as Arden and you get background into why he ended up becoming how he was, who he was prior to this, and his overall, like, you know, beginning, which was hundreds of years before fucking Noctis. So you get to find out all that stuff, and it was just really fucking interesting getting to see all that play out. But yeah, this video is a little bit longer than what I wanted it to be, but I just really enjoyed the game. I really enjoyed the story. I've watched the story, I played through the game a whole time, then I rewatched it and I watched the movies, and bro, very good game. I would highly recommend it to anyone who has not played it yet. Even though I've kind of spoiled, like, you know, some major parts of the game, I still think it is a good game for you to play and just experience, because there's a bunch of little secrets and just a bunch of secrets and gameplay that you just will not get from me explaining it to you. So yeah, if you enjoy the video, please leave a like and comment down below a game that you love, story, and also if you played 15, how did you feel about it? Is it actually one of your favorite games? But yeah, that's about it. I'll see you guys later.